Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Or coming to you with some more Company of Heroes 2 action. It's a 1v1 today between down here with these Wehrmacht pioneers. We're just having a bit of a break. It's Burmie up here on the northern side of Langreskya. He is playing, obviously, like I said, as the Wehrmacht, and his opponent down on the southern side already building a special rifle command. It is Fortune playing as the Soviets. Now, taking a quick look over here at commanders, well, Burmie starting off, bizarrely enough, with, I was going to say a double machine gun, but no, he's going from one MG42 into a Pioneer, so it's a little bit different there. Now, Fortune is going to be already playing Armored Assault Tactics, which is a little bit uncommon. I'm kind of excited to see it. Now, Burmie might be bringing on in Fortified Armor, which I barely ever see, frankly, because the Elephant is not as good as you might think. Blitzkrieg Doctrine or German Mechanized Doctrine. My guess is we'll probably end up seeing German Mechanized Doctrine. And I'm a little bit excited to see that one as well, because I'm looking for some LEFH Oxen action. It'll be a lot of fun for me, indeed. So a couple of things real quick as this game's getting started here. I have just launched a new Twitch channel. I'm going to be actually streaming some things here and there. Not necessarily just strategy either, so there'll be some PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds over there. If you guys have not seen that game just yet, it's pretty freaking fantastic. As well as something like We Happy Few, which is another fantastic game. It has a massive update coming in on the 16th of August. And I hope I see you guys out there. I would really love to have some more interaction with you guys so that we get some real time, some time together. So keep an eye out for really posts and kind of notices to let you know when there is some streaming happening. For example, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be streaming Thursday evening from probably like 7 to 9 or so. But I'll put a video up for that in particular, and my guess will be some more streaming time either throughout the week or soon. But alright, triple machine gun coming on out for Burmie. Very, very uncommon. And now we have a clown car coming on out for Fortune, which is not as shocking necessarily, but at the same time, that means we're going to probably be seeing a rocket flamethrower coming on out. MG42s are going to lay down a base of fire that should really push back those combat engineers, heck, even the penal troops, pretty darn quick. And it is, in fact, going to be a triple one again anyway, so it's a triple machine gun. That is so unusual. I'm not sure I've seen that happen in very, very long bit of time. Are there any buffs to them on that one? No. Conscripts and Grenadiers, Packs, and P4s. These guys are going to be upgrading themselves with something here. Alright, so penal troops are out here and going to fire now on top of this poor machine gun here. But this machine gun Wehr inside this garrison is doing a very good job pushing back and really kind of doing some really good damage here to the clown car. Now, penal troops are going to be pushed back as well, which will allow the Germans a good amount of map control.
Penal troops are standing by.
But with more penals on the way, it's only a question of how long the Soviet wave can kind of just be put off, staved off, if you will. Russians do already have their fuel and supply. Germans got theirs now and are finally moving for a VP. And it looks like it's probably going to be a 2-to-1 for the Soviets as, oh yes, here come the penals hopping on in. A very quick tech to battle phase 1, and we have a very American setup right now. Red, white, and blue. Indeed, going to be much more sad, though, in a second. This machine gun's going to do a pretty good job here. My question is, will we see a satchel charge coming on out? And if we do, will Burmie catch it in time? Yep, here comes a satchel. No, not quite. Okay, so never mind, Pioneers are in here instead. So Burmie being very, very intentional, hopping in and out as soon as humanly possible. And there's the satchel. And hopefully these guys can get out. They're not going to get out in time. Goodbye. No, it's a tenth of a second before they can get out. Unfortunately, the poor guys do go down and get slaughtered. And indeed, we're actually going to see another machine gun get pushed back with just one model and barely any health. Wow. It's a seesaw map back and forth already. I kind of like it. Alright, well, machine guns going to be pushed on back, and these Pioneers are not going to be enough to really shove back these penal troops. Indeed, if the penals can get any kind of veterancy up and running, they're going to be extremely difficult to deal with, and that doesn't even include this MG on this bad boy. But at least for the moment, the Pioneers can do decently well against the penals in close combat, and frankly, as the 222 comes out, the scout car will be a little bit less effectual And never mind, doesn't need to worry about that, because MG has managed to take it on out, or was it the Pioneers who finally got the credit for it? The Pioneers get the credit for it, so MP40s for the win. Though it will mean a sacrifice of both the middle VP as well as the German fuel point. But even then, Burmie's got himself a little bit of a lead in commander points. He's got a little bit of a lead, I would say, in army size here. Well, not army size, in terms of composition. There we go. Every now and again, man, you hate getting old, so you start missing the words you want to be talking about. Machine gun, though, will push back the penal troops and will allow the Germans to re-seize this position. But it will give the Soviets an awful lot of fuel, and that tanky battalion command is coming down pretty quick. It's going to be under about 610, 615. And Germans, while they can call in a pack, doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And frankly, that TM-35 mine will slow them just enough that it could cause some issues.
A sector has been cut off.
What's more, if the penals here, for example, they do have PTRSs, if they get any kind of fire out on this 222, the T-70 by itself will be crushing them pretty easily. Field infantry comes on out for the Soviets. For the Germans, not so much just yet. Instead, we're going to see more machine guns. Not sure if that's the best call per se, but an interesting build nevertheless. I guess around this area it's kind of understandable. So these conscripts will try to put fire out against the German position, and this MG might be able to keep him at bay for a fair bit of time. Nope, never mind, he's going to pack up at the absolute worst time. He's not... Okay, I take it all back. Never mind. Machine gun? Not going to fire. 222 hanging on out here to the side, and the Pioneers in the meantime also picking up some strategic point down here to the southeast, making the map a little bit more than a 50-50 in favor of the Germans. 475 to 475. There we go. We're bang on even at 7 minutes. And the Germans at this point, I feel like, are just kind of taking their time, throwing down some fuel caches. A good decision there. And my question is, what will they throw up to the north? So I'm not 100% sure on that one. 222 is going to be effective for only as long as it is before T-70 comes on out. And with teller mines being placed, it looks like they're preparing for that T-70 already to chase back that 222. But a couple of upgrades are ready. So hazard removal kit on both sides for some Pioneers and combat engineers. PTRS is indeed for the Penal Battalion. And what was something else I was seeing? Oh yes, this Maxim 1910 coming on out in favor of the Soviets will give them some nice setup power. And frankly, already they have a mobility advantage over the Germans.
Heavy machine gun team prepared for combat.
But the Germans do have a firepower advantage, I would say, at least until these penal troops can get in and close enough to throw grenades. Problem is, you got to get in around all of these fields of fire, and it's not easy fighting those things. It's like fighting seams on a coat if you literally couldn't see. And we keep having it happen here. So the Maxim's going to try to set up and engage against this MG42, and I think might even slightly outrange. No, it's not going to slightly outrange. It'll be kind of a fun duel back and forth. A wet noodle contest of the ages, indeed. 222 going to slide around to the southern side, going to try to push back these combat engineers. No, they're going to be pushed back on their own. And the Germans just kind of continue to build some territory, build up some munitions, and there's that medic bunker, so it's a good decision there as well. Now, will we see an URA? My guess is no. I would love to see an URA around the side over here, around the flank, but that is not going to happen. In the meantime, Burmie is just running with, well, rather intelligently. I was not anticipating the MG42s to be a legitimate build, but he's using them to be as a base of fire to support his Pioneers. So the Pioneers are going to get attacked from the east, but this MG42 should be able to put fire down against its garrisons. In the meantime, though, here we go. So Maxim will exchange fire with MG42, and will cause a little bit of a problem, but not anything too hefty. Now, T-70 is out and about, but there still is this teller mine over here to the eastern side. Get nice and close so we can see that. There's the deadly devices, indeed. And here come the conscripts that have been able to URA through, so I was wrong, which is something that, of course, happens a fair bit, I have to say. And where are these MGs otherwise? Well, they're both retreating back to base, it looks like, or at least soft redeploying. Okay, not that yet. But instead, we are going to see Soviets continue to kind of retake the area in the center part of the map. 475 to 433, 10 minutes into this game. Pak 40 is going to come out for Burmie. It's a good call at this time. Not great against the infantry fight. He's still very, very scaled in that area. There's even more teller mines out and about here too. So again, this U-22 is going to be used to lure him on in, and he's got to make sure he doesn't run over that mine as it explodes, because it will explode, my friends.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
The Germans are able to go down here and try to cut off the Soviet supply position. It won't be easy though, because of this particular spot right here, as well as this other close one. They're awfully close to base MGs. Now, what are we seeing in the meantime, though? Soviets do control the center. It's not going to last too long. I'm wondering if the T-70 is going to try to redeploy to get after...
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
No, he's not. He's coming back down to the south, I think. So even though the Germans are not benefiting at all from this taken territory, it's always kind of a good idea, frankly, to just decap as much as humanly possible. Support Armor Corps has now been placed over here for the Germans. 222 in the meantime coming on down, trying to put fire into these penals as they really start to shellac the retreating pioneers. Mortar team finally being brought in for the Soviets, and that's at long last. I'm surprised it has been called in before now. But, you know, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Fortune does definitely know what he's doing. Really just a question of how long it takes for him to get that Soviet army up and really being built into place here. That would be a really good call to engage the pioneers, but I don't know if it's going to happen necessarily. Now the Zis gun, on the other hand, this is going to be very, very bad. The 222. If he's not careful, and frankly, I'm not sure he is. T-70 is in the middle of his cold fire, so he can see a little bit better and try to get line of sight out on that 222, and does so, and manages to escape before being slaughtered. MG-42 in the meantime, though, going to put some more fire down on the retreating combat engineers. But Burmie is down quite a bit now. My question is, will we see something like a P4? We're going to see a Stroke. A Stroke might even be a good play at this point. Not perfect, mind you. It might be even better to go for and wait for that Panther 4. Or even, dare I say, an Ostwind. Maximo's going to engage this Pioneer here, and this poor MG-42 needs to retreat. And with that, Burmie takes a very, very big downside to this match. He is up in terms of resource generation, and I mean in all areas, not in the least of which because he is down quite a bit in army supply. But it's hard to be too kind of like crude about that. Machine guns, though, really starting to show their immobility as a tank and span keeps coming on out. So one penal squad takes the hits, and then, yep, concepts kind of squirt on around. T-70 harasses on the retreat, and Tellermine is actually still there. I'm surprised it hasn't gone down yet. And there's the Ostwind. So this could be the most incredible Ostwind known to mankind, and I would be really pushing for it.
I just can't take it.
Fuel cache goes on down, and that's a shame. But this is all just so the Germans can sneak on forwards with their packs. And indeed, this arcs of fire are going to do some really great work to these combat engineers. This is still unknown. They still don't know that exists. And indeed, actually, ooh, so there's going to be an engagement over here against this machine gun, but I dare say that property values for this house are going to go down very, very quickly. These guys can back up, and there they go. Again, just barely outside of that mine. If you can get him to move forward just a hair more, it could have been absolutely brilliant. I sincerely don't think that he even knows that it's there. Ostwind, 1 kill so far, and frankly, they're getting outscaled like crazy. There's going to be a T-34-76 getting called in pretty darn soon. At that point, Burmie's going to want to start crying. What's more, he's down 20-some-odd tickets. This gun's being set up against him, and he doesn't have that kind of power to really go mono-e-mono for very long with it. Luckily, though, at least he has that 2 Pioneer setup, which means he can get some repairs out pretty darn quickly here. MG-42 rebasing forwards. As the telemines are still there? Yes, they are. Meanwhile, the eastern side of the map starts to heat up as machine guns really get lit up, and they're trying to get into that garrison. They're going to get there. But for the moment, things are still very, very peachy, I would say, for the Ostwind. was going to be a pin very quickly, and these guys, I'm surprised they haven't taken more than they have already losses-wise. But that round right there did an incredible amount of damage. T-70 being called on in, trying to go and destroy this machine gun. Might be able to do so. And there's a retreat, and at least one model's going to go down. There goes both, so that the MG42 is up and available now. And the Germans are not content to let these guys escape, so they continue to blow holes in them, but they're just not converting that last little bit of damage. Oof, and this T-70 is going to probably buy it here. That autocannon does a good amount of damage, and while he may have not gotten all the kill by himself, Burmie might be able to kind of, not squirt back into this, but to kind of suffer his way back into this. MP40s against combat engineers in the open. I'm surprised the MP40s aren't doing better. But them's the break sometimes. You gotta kind of have to back away. Soviets will seize the German fuel. They're gonna seize their own fuel back. And this position down here will get taken out by this gun. Always embarrassing when anti-tank guns are able to capture territories. Another mortar being brought on in for Fortune, so he's going for a very well-rounded composition, and I'm surprised he hasn't gone to put more pressure on really getting that, oh my gosh, that's what I'm looking for here.
Mortar team reports ready for combat.
Looking for that T-34. He should be getting it fairly quickly. I'm surprised he hasn't even put down the building for it. I don't like that, actually. In fact, I'm kind of wishing he did. P-Guns, in the meantime, going to push back these conscripts without any real issue whatsoever. Although, this machine gun needs to back away right now. So there's some veterancy being lost now and again as the Germans find themselves getting pounded by indirect firepower. But wherever there's a stand-up fight, it seems the Germans do pretty darn well. That does presuppose, of course, that there is no other indirect fire. Now, these P-Guns have to be careful. They don't know about this mine right here, I don't think. Burmie has quite a bit in the way of Panzerschreck kind of upgradability here. And he actually went after all for that fortified armor doctrine. That is really surprising. Very surprising. Western flank, not that much. And there's, yep, they hit that mine. They need to back up right now, or they need to throw out a grenade, one or the other. Alright, MG42 sliding on forwards, and I'm surprised by the relatively low amount of veterancy on this map. Soviets have, what, 6 stars total? The Germans have under that? It's incredible how low it's been. Maxim's going to be able to push back the MG42 in the middle part of the map rather simply. Though up in the northern side, there we go. I was trying to find out where I couldn't see them. We will see the penal group getting forced back very, very quickly. Is this gun, is he doing any kind of barrage? No, he's not. He's just depending on these mortar teams to do the deadly dirty work, and they're doing it rather well. I guess Burmie is waiting for that command tank, not anticipating a particularly strong armored force out of the Soviets, and for the moment he's right. But the second that this IS-2 comes out, it's going to be almost impossible for Burmie to stay competitive. Is this gun gets redeployed? In fact, no, this is his second Zis gun. Now AT grenades coming on out, so that is going to be some tough anti-tank to really put up with. Both Zis guns are in the area, and there is the command tank like I anticipated. And while the Panzer Grenadiers take some real damage here, this Flak Panzer should be able to back away before taking too much more. Never mind. Poor guy, is this going to get at least one more shot off? No. And here comes a bowling grenade out instead, so that machine gun's going to suffer for being so good at its job. Does a good amount of damage, doesn't kill him though. And now we in fact have the Flak Panzer coming in and through the Soviet position. And the commander, excuse me, the command tank coming in as well. Might even see a dead Maxim here. I'm surprised it actually hasn't gone down already. And there we go, now it's gone down.
Time to unleash our heavy tanks.
Oh, heavy tanks, okay, down. And this is going to be a dead Flak Panzer because he's not getting away in time. Main gun destroyed, the engine. I am severely surprised he's not exploded by now. This gun will force a fallback, and that machine gun's going to be easily picked back up by Soviets, I should think. Then again, this machine gun will do a good number on the charging penals as they come across this road. Super pinned, super fast, and naturally occurring brouhaha, always kind of worth noting. These guys are not getting out of there simply. What's more, it's also worth noting that with an AT barrage, they can be shifted back rather quickly. As you see, one guy gets turned into mush. Can he get out in time? Yes, he can. Just barely, in fact. He drops a model on retreat. And yeah, the Soviets are up 300 to 433. Should have been the other way around there. 433 now to 298. Point being is that the Soviets are very, very high up on this one. Now, what is not going well for the Soviets is that their anti-tank guns really should be getting picked off pretty quickly. It's only through a very, very opportunistic bundle grenade that the Soviets did not lose one of those disc guns. So that might be happening pretty darn soon. I'm kind of shocked that the Panzer Grenadiers aren't taking a more aggressive stance with this. There they go. Now, with the Flak Panzer back up and running, this one's definitely down. Question is, will we see the conscripts go down as well? And with actually that weight of fire, no one's going to live through that particularly easily, so they're going to get pushed back to base. Smoke grenades coming, smoke rounds coming out by the mortars, trying to make sure they can recapture this particular anti-tank gun, and a grenade coming out might be able to take it out. No, it does some good damage, but not enough. And now it's fighting inside the smoke here. To the cartoons, these guys are in hand-to-hand combat, practically. It looks like one of the German MG-42s was seized, and I think it's this one. No, it's not. It's just two Maxims. Okay, so the Germans lost and recruited all their MGs, and the P-Grunts need to back up right now. And instead, the Pioneers are just going to make these guys pay for every single time they recruit. The fact they're even going to recruit themselves might even lose it on the way back. But if they start moving it towards their own territory, that might be worthwhile. No, they're going to get pulled back and slaughtered quickly. Yep, there they go. It's like that one mission in every single RTS that's kind of a tug of war where you have to capture something and move it back and forth. But the Soviets not building their late game heavy vehicles might cause quite an issue here. P4 command tank is getting forced back with just a bare bit of health left. Damaged engine as well. And this Flak Panther is doing rather well. He's got Vet 1 already, Vet 2 is pretty amazing, and Vet 3 is freaking fantastic, so that'll be kind of good to see. Now, what I won't expect to see at all is I won't expect to see any of these Germans increase the hold down. It just doesn't make sense to me. And frankly, immobility in this game is a very, very bad thing to have. MG-42 going to try to maybe get into this house? No, it would have been a decent decision. I admit I would like to see some more kind of indirect firepower from the German side of things. Though as of right now, I guess I can't complain too much about the fact that they're slaughtering Soviet infantry basically whenever they show up someplace. And there's the heavy panzer corps. So, will we see an elephant tank destroyer? Because he might know that his opponent has gone for the armored assault tactics, which means he might know that he needs desperately to have an IS-2. But the fact that he just made a Panzerwaffe does not fill me with a lot of comfort in this area. Now, fortunately, he's just a little bit away from getting the IS-2. He's got about a command point left to go, so another minute or two. He's up in tickets. He can waste the time. And there are IL-2 attacks, so he's got to back up right now. Good call. And now he knows exactly what his opponent's got. My question is, yep, there we go. So Ziskun's getting a couple of shots off on the Flak Panzer, but he should be able to perhaps shoot down. No, he's not. Okay. Panzerwaffe 42 coming on now. It's pretty nifty right there. MG-42's continuing their surprising amount of map control here. Two machine guns down here to the south. It seems like a bit of overkill. As the mortars start to get chugging yet again, those 82 mils will force back the machine guns. Panzerwaffe, though, going for a counter barrage, I imagine. He's going to try to find him. And here it comes. If he can get anything, if he can get one of these squads by himself, that's fantastic. But no, he's going to shoot back for base, and that's a pretty good shot as well. 3 kills, not a ton of them, perhaps, but the Soviets are very, very compressed, and with the high numbers of models that they do have, it will cost him dearly over time. 290 to 391, 25 minutes in, we are going to see the Germans are able to be controlling about 55% of the field, although that's not going to happen as the support teams for the Soviets get back into play between the Zis guns and machine guns and the mortars, which are a pain in the butt, I have to say, for the attacking Wehrmacht forces. What's more, the amount of cooldown between the Panzerwaffe barrages, it's very, very difficult. And there's the IS-2, so expect to see the map turn back around again, as the Germans don't know really what to do against this IS-2. They could, again, call in some Shreks, but that doesn't seem very likely. There's the IS-2. They are now desperately trying to take out the Zis gun before they back away, and they don't get it. That's rough. The Germans going to get pushed back now with that IS-2 coming on in. Where is that beast? That guy is a monster. It's like 60 or 70 tons, and Williams will correct me, I know that much. And the Germans, what do the Germans have to face this? Well, they have, not much. Rockets away in the center point of the field, right in this area. Either way, a pretty good decision. Perfect barrage. Doesn't do as much damage as he was hoping for, but again, another 4 kills, not too bad. And the IS-2 now just begins to reap his bloody harvest. That's going to happen for a little bit of time until the Germans decide, you know, do I really want to invest in this elephant? And the answer to that is freaking yes. I'd love to see the size of his trunk in the meantime as well. But until then, the Germans are going to get forced back. These guys are going to go for the double Shreks. It's about freaking time. At some point, I would also think the Germans should make another squad of Peagrons and upgrade them as well as double Shreks. It's going to sacrifice a lot of their firepower against infantry, yes. But, you know, kind of a bad idea not to happen. I'd rather have the less anti-infantry with all the MGs that I have on the field than have no anti-tank with this IS-2. And you can see right now, he's going to cause a lot of issues. First round comes out, scratches the paint, doesn't do much though. In the meantime, yeah, that guy is supremely heavily armed. And armored for that matter too. Down to 1, he's got to back up. So now we're going to see Burmie bleeding manpower for the next couple of minutes until he can get that 245 and 720 for the Elephant Tank Destroyer. And he can afford that, can he not? Yes, 20 army supply, he's got it. Just barely. But he's got it. But the losses he's going to take in the meantime for the next minute or so are going to be devastating. This MG is getting forced back. It's going to get blown to pieces. And the Soviets have now just clogged up the middle part of the field so heavily, it's almost not even funny. Now, Panzerwaffe, where is he? He is back home. He can't counter barrage just yet, but I think he's just going to continue to shell. Yeah, in fact, he makes a perfect shell right there. He shells it. We got only 4 kills so far, but once he gets that counter battery thing, it'd be fan-freaking-tastic. And we're getting closer and closer to that elephant. Another 20 seconds or so. The question is whether or not he's going to reinforce or he's going to wait and just try to get that last little bit of fuel. It looks like he's going to wait instead. Sacrifice a couple of his little bit of map pressure for the time being. 268 to 362. He's down about 100 tickets yet again. And the Soviets are getting a lot more veterancy here. Not the strongest place for him to be. Yikes, and yet again, you know, it fires one time and it just completely wipes out squads of his. It doesn't even seem fair. Thankfully, this machine gun over here to the eastern side will sacrifice his life for the fatherland. Maybe even the Ostwind as well. And we're getting closer and closer. Yep, Burmie's just going to wait for the elephant to come on out, and that thing is incredibly good. It's another 10 or so seconds before that happens. And he'll come out with plenty of time, I would say, as well. There's not going to be any sort of IL-2 attacks. There's no late-game armor yet again being built over here by Fortune. And there's the elephant. He is one hefty mother trucker. And with that, though, the elephant has to be concerned about some things, and that namely is, well, it's not particularly effective against anti-tank from the infantry side of things, so there's just going to be very, very well placed to remove them. And, yep, good. The P-guns are getting reinforced first. Good call. Now, is this going to the middle part of the field, which means that this Ostwind might get surprised. No, he's backing up. And now that IS-2 knows he's got to back away. The funny thing is that if you can get behind the elephant, which is not particularly difficult considering how slow the elephant is, well, it's going to be a hot time for the elephant. Command tank doing a little bit of good damage here and there, but we'll take a couple of rounds. Now, Panzerwaffe, is he going to fire again? He should, but he's not going to. I think he's looking for the anti-tank positions first. And that would be a good call. Unfortunately, they've been both resighted to the south, and I don't think the Germans know that just yet. Or do they? Never mind, he's looking for that MG. The Mechanized Armor Company are now finally being brought on in, so after such a long period of time, and at long last, he manages to make a kill. Taking out a machine gun squad 31 minutes in. It's taken forever and a freaking day for this to happen, but he's finally getting some legitimate work being done here. In the meantime, though, MG6 continues its deadly deed to the south, trying to push back these disc guns, and will do decently well. Now, I am wondering, will we see some anti-tank, light arty barrages coming on out? Because that'd be a good idea as well. Hasn't happened yet, though. And the Panzerwaffe, in the meantime, gets hit, and hull down, shockingly enough, has been utilized. But it's immobile, so that's a problem. And he's taking a lot of shots right now from the disc gun. He's got to back away. There we go, he's finally got to call it back. IL-2 rounds, IL-2 attacks, excuse me, coming on in, and these guys are going to get slaughtered because they are out in the open and getting away with a whisper of health. But at least he achieves one thing. He is able to not, I repeat, not going to, whoa. What the deuce? Oh, IL-2 that went down. Okay, so the Germans are safe. Well done to you, good sir. He's got 31 kills, 2 vehicles of that. So well done. The reason I thought that this building was dead, and I was like, that makes 0 sense. How the heck did that happen? But no, it was the Germans taking down that pesky IL-2. They did drop a Pioneer squad, but that's a survivable loss, I would say. MG42 is going to go and just start pinging away at this anti-tank position. A couple of models already. Panzerwaffe yet again, throwing down more rounds, going to try to take out, and does take out that anti-tank gun. Now, the problem is he hasn't successfully been able to take out the anti-tank gun in addition to that. And now there's a Katyusha coming out, which means that all of his immobility is going to really, really be playing against him. This Pac 40 is going to get destroyed. All of this, honestly, is just going to get walloped. Elephant comes down to the south. He's going to, excuse me, P4 is going to come down to the south, I meant to say. He's going to get some very, very bad hits happening. This gun does get finally taken out, and this Ostwind might take some very big damage as well, but luckily for him, it's a very hilly area. Elephant shifting on in, though, and this guy, again, if he can keep anything like the Zis gun either at range, or keep this Katyusha from getting a couple too many shots off. I'm surprised it hasn't fired already. He's going to be in great, great shape, and the Elephant just barely misses his first round. Command tank does go down, but he can get called back in fairly quickly, I would think. And Elephant not going to get a second round off? No, just barely missing. So 360, so another 100 manpower, we'll see another command tank hit in the field, and that's probably a good idea. That reduced damage is a good thing to have. Panzerwaffe. For some reason, trying to shell the Katyusha. I was trying to shell the IS-2. Katyusha, though, in the meantime, might be able to take out the Panzerwaffe. I'm gonna say I haven't done very extensive testing on this. And that first barrage will thankfully be pretty much a giant whiff. IS-2 is going to try to troop on forwards a little bit, and if this Elephant should be able to fire back, I would think. There we go. So one shot One shot brings it down to 75% health. That's pretty intense right there. And a bundle grenade in the meantime doing some good damage against this 3-star mortar team. Hasn't taken him out, but that's still a good, solid strike. This continues to happen yet again, so more and more hold down positions happening here, which continues to surprise me. And there's that command tank being brought in yet again. Good call. Reduced damage is definitely what you want at this stage of the game. Especially with things like this Elephant Tank Destroyer. Now, if memory serves, the Elephant Tank Destroyer was a concept art, but really wasn't utilized too often in the war. I'm sure somebody out there could correct me, but I think I'm right on that one. MG-42 being flanked to the south, command tank coming back in, and this MG-42 is going to try to settle on down before they get slaughtered. No, both sides are going to back up. But the Soviets, I think, had a far worse out of that one, losing 5 models just to the 1 of the Germans, and 3 of them dying practically on top of each other. Meanwhile, to the north, Maxim going to trade fire with his P-Grants. It's going to do particularly well. They get suppressed any second, I'm sure. And S Minefield doing some good stuff. And he just shelled his own troops. So, friendly fire there, and he got an incredible amount of kills, I would say, but he just killed 2 of his own dudes. Bit of a problem. Now, if he aimed a little bit further, it would have been very, very nice. And I was going to see that duel of 1,000 days as the Katyusha and the Panzerwaffe try to find each other, and mostly fail. S Minefield's out in the middle part of the map, and the Soviets definitely do know that. Surprised not seeing any armored vehicle to kind of destroy it first. There we go, and that's how you destroy Soviet infantry. You trick them and then you blow them to pieces. Ostman coming on up. This guy still has 31 kills. And I believe we're going to see a charge get one of those targeted satchels off. Not going to be easy though, and indeed, they're going to find themselves really wanting to back up. 224 to 300. The Germans are still down, but it's a lot less dire than it was a little while ago. 21 kills. He's already got another barrage ready. Oh my god, this could be perfect. This could be perfect. Oh, there goes another squad. 5 kills there, almost taking out one of the PTRSs. He's whittling away slowly, model by model. T-34-76 being called on, and I think this is going to be one of those kind of sucker moves where it's like, okay, well, we need someone to draw fire while the IS-2 gets into position, and that's going to be the poor T-34. Elephant coming on in? There we go. So paint being scratched here and there, these Shreks coming on in, they're going to get slaughtered. They need to back up right now. And that's just the word of the day. I mean, slaughter just seems to be what's happening all over the place. Luckily for them, the Pigments do make it out. And that's good. That's a very hefty investment of men and material. And this guy's ready to fire yet again. So if he goes back into the center area, that's exactly what he's going to do, too. The Katyusha is looking for him and not going to find him necessarily. In fact, I think we're going to see... Or am I wrong? No, he's looking for that mortar team. Almost takes him out. Not quite yet. Elephant is getting pressured by T-34 as well as pretty much everything known to mankind. He can't lose his Elephant. Elephants are already pretty endangered. You don't want to lose his Elephant at all. And now he's being circle-strafed back practically for just days and days and days. He's going to get shot inside and rear armor hits. And this is going to be a very, very dire moment. The question is whether or not the Elephant survive. It's not going to. Boom. But what did the Soviets sacrifice to make this happen? Well, some infantry here and there. Their T-34 is killed back in base, the German base. But the Germans are suffering machine gun losses here and there, and that's, you know, not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not particularly incredible. Pak-40's getting some good damage done, though. And I'm surprised he hasn't used target weak point to stun him up. That would have been pretty darn good. Was forced back the IS-2 for right now. Panzerwaffe has gone down in the meantime as well. He dove for that bad boy, I think. Actually, I can't even tell you. But we might see another Elephant after all. 211 per minute and 35 fuel. So another minute or so for the fuel, another 2 minutes or so for the elephant. It looks very, very sad, that poor guy. Look how big that gun is, though, too. Dear God. The breach on it was just insane. Insane on the membrane. 40 minutes have gone here and past us, and we're 224 to 254. And a recon pass now being thrown on in, and why the heck not? He's got so much in the way of munitions, it makes sense. Katyusha barrage coming back to home base. Yikes. Luckily for the Germans, he doesn't have creeping barrage just yet, otherwise that would have been pretty darn bad. But the Germans are going on a nice little snipe hunt trying to pick off this Katyusha, I think. And I believe the Soviets know that, which is why they're throwing penal troops in as a bit of kind of covering, blocking forces. MG-42 is going to go start to unload onto these penal troops, and at the same time, yep, there we go, safely grabs it and goes back to base before he drops a Shrek. And just heard somebody die. That was a shame. I never knew him, but that was a shame. And in the meantime, well, these PTRS Penal Battalion troops are trying very, very hard to stand up to all this enemy armor, and it's not going to go particularly well. The Ziskum might do a better job, but even then, my friends, it doesn't mean that everything is going well for the Soviets. Infantry being reinforced, and that's a good call right there. He's afraid now of the Katyusha just throwing rounds down and just hitting him by random accident. And that's going to allow the Soviets to take the middle VP. No, never mind. They're still in negative and half cover, so it's not negative per se, but that Ostwind is there now, and that guy is brutal. These guys aren't in yellow cover anymore. Now they're completely pinned. Pioneers come through to chase them back off, and there they go. Another elephant is imminent. And I admit I would like to see some more Peagrams. I'd really like to see some more Peagrams. He's got the munitions to support the massive Shrek squad of doom. But he's not doing it. Look at that. So, 26 kills in this guy already. And frankly, he has self-repair, which is even better. He's got to run right now. There we go. And there goes the Shrek squad. That is a big loss. Elephant comes out any second. And there's the elephant. And now, again, I'm hoping to see some more, what's the term I'm looking for here? Some more Peagrams. He's got tons and tons of munitions. He needs to be using them some way or another. Shrek is out in the field, so at least that's not going to be traded over to the Soviets. And this guy's going to go on down as well. So that Ostwind's paying dividends, keeping all the IL-2 attacks at range. 35 kills. How many of those have been airplanes? At least 2. So very well done there. Katyusha coming out now, and that's a bit of a problem though for the Germans, because they still are immobile as all get out. And that T-34 and this Ostwind just kind of trading some rounds here and there. Elephant might want to consider shifting to one side or the other, but may not be the best option overall. Kind of confused. He's prioritizing vehicles, and as well he should, but he's not getting any kind of line of sight apparently.
We have 200 points remaining.
And despite the fact he's down quite significantly in terms of army supply, well, the Germans have the VP lead, which I'm surprised about in many ways. Now, if they can get some indirect fire in this area, that would be fantastic. I don't think they can do that for a little bit of time yet. This Ostwind might be the player of the game, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is nice having the debuff to damage received, but this Ostwind has been just suppressing the bejesus out of stuff and just doing an incredible amount of work. And there they go. See? Machine Gun's doing some good suppression, but the Ostwind doing a ton of damage. We are seeing the Germans losing control over the center VP. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this particular match, and what's more, now we have a creeping barrage as an opportunity here, and that might be a good idea. Keeping barrage to the center part of the map, he might even be able to go across, you know, in a kind of perpendicular fashion here and remove these machine guns. He's got the munis for it, so why not, right? Germans continue to play as if it's a hold the enemy off for, you know, a certain amount of time here, and it's just that's not going to be the right call. Although, we might see a dead Sisgun. So there's whispers of health left, and there goes that Ostman, poor guy. So he did an incredible amount of work, and I don't think that's going to be received well for the Germans now. Pack 40 gets taken on out, and I think that's going to be pretty much the swan song, I would say, unless Burmie can magically get back into this. I don't think that he can at the moment. He's not investing in more vehicles, he's not investing in more infantry, he's just investing basically in just, well, not much of anything. Katyusha bombarding the middle part of the field, good decision right here, getting very, very minimal spread. And this elephant is going to try to ping rounds off of this IS-2, and the IS-2 just does an incredible amount of damage. Pack 40's been recruited at least. There goes the command tank. And I think that, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for Burmie, I think. So 207 to 189. He's up in tickets for the moment, but his packs keeps getting taken out. His pioneers have to take out their own equipment before he gets plowed away, and they lose their only AT. So Burmie did really well getting back into this, but then kind of screwed it in the late game by not being aggressive after the IS-2 for one, or overstaying his welcome for another one. I think it would also been a good idea to invest a lot more into his infantry than he did. Just speeding it up a moment or two here. I don't want to just have this linger. I'd rather someone's going to die that they're going to die, you know, proudly, facing the enemy and all that. And PTRS is going to charge up here to take more territory, and that'll be pretty much that. 1,000 munitions. See, this is what I'm talking about. You cannot float this many munitions when your opponent has the kind of AT and the kind of, well, the kind of tanks that he has in the first place. Whether it's using your P-Grens to throw out more and more bundle grenades, whether it's getting flamethrowers, I don't know what. But this is not how things go, unfortunately. Recon overflight. He could have been using that for just days on end, and that would have been more than enough. Elephant may end up going extinct here, not quite yet. And indeed, with the fully healed up IS-2 and a fully healed up T-34, 30 kills in the IS-2. So that guy is a beast. He's a monster. And I was surprised I didn't see the satchel charge come on out, but I guess at this point it does make sense. That thing is quite good, though. Would have been a good call. And that's going to be pretty much all she wrote. Germans are pressed back into their own territory, and it's going to be a trip cap out for the Soviets. Bunker is gone, so there's no healing for the infantry, and Burmie's not even calling anything else. There we go, finally, at long last, some P-Grens. Should have been calling them in about a minute and a half ago, but more P-Grens. And called another one? He can afford him. But he's not. Okay. A Death or Glory charge seems to be the name of the game, though. I know he's going to bring in a boom bar instead, so not sure why, but he's bringing in a boom bar. 50 minutes have come and gone. What looked like a German comeback is not going to be materializing, I don't think. And here is the Death or Glory charge that we come to expect. Shrek's coming on through. Yep, Shrek's coming up. And mines galore. Also, where the heck am I seeing the gunfire from? And geez, when the PTRSs are able to deflect and push back a Panther, that's never a good sign. And wow, so mines taking out the newly spawned P-Grens. And that's a bit of a problem. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Broombar coming on in, still 700 munitions in favor of the Germans. They've not controlled munitions points for a fair bit of time now. And 51 minutes is coming and going, and I would like to see the Soviets just kind of finish this one out.
The enemy has 100 points remaining.
Well, their mortars are going to take out this Leichte Mechanized Company. And that will eventually happen. And yep, here come the Germans. They're going to attack now. Broombar coming on in. He can smash the occasional tank, but for the most part, he's pretty worthless. Although his first round is able to do incredible amounts of damage to that Zisgun, so I'm going to take back what I said about him. Satchel charge, no, excuse me, anti-tank grenade coming on out, damaging the engine. And the Germans are throwing themselves forward in a Death or Glory charge, and I have to respect that. Recon plane going on down. Over in the fields to the west. And the Boombar doing more damage by himself. I think the command tank did in a fair bit of time here. And this command tank's going to die. One way or another, he's going to die.
Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
IS-2 comes in, starts to clean everybody else up. Boombar damage, Panzer IV down, and Sturmpanzer should be going down pretty quickly as well. Now, I'm surprised T-34, okay, T-34 is coming in behind the Elephant. And even the undergun kind of tank will not be able to stand up. IS-2 turns out the finality of a headsman to axe. And does a cute little shot over his shoulder to probably ping and take out this Boombar. Elephant pops smoke dischargers, as is both sides, really. And Burmie just says, screw it, man, forget it, it's over. So, a little bit of a glamour shot here at the end. 32 kills between an Elephant and a Boombar. This IS-2 is at the zoo. End score, 189 to 74. Burmie goes down in a 52-33 playback, and frankly, well done to Fortune. I was not expecting that. Of course, I wasn't also expecting Burmie's startup to be so focused on MGs, but, you know, it's something different, something interesting, something new. Kind of hard to fault him for it. Regardless, well played to Fortune, unlucky to Burmie, and folks, I will see you all soon. This is Conalworks signing off. Take it easy.